Attempting to run the country like he ran for president in hiding from his bunker, Joe Biden was finally forced out of hiding yesterday, and he gave a nearly 2 hour long press conference. Well, kudos that he could stand there that long, and God bless the reporters that were actually in that room and had to endure that for 2 hours. I was trying to think of a clever way that I could sum up that press conference, and really it kind of comes down to this. Grumpy old man snaps at reporters and then babbles incoherently because he's suffering from dementia. Is that pretty much how you saw it? I am not going to break down that entire press conference. The entire thing was a disaster. There is backlash all over the internet, all over, even in blue states. Michigan, which is about as blue as you can get. Michigan voters, Democrats, absolutely panned that entire press conference. He is losing on so many fronts, and he was trying to take victory laps. He actually insulted the American people and said, "You just don't realize what I've done for you." You know what they realize? They realize everything costs more this year than it did last year. They understand that they're paying almost 100% more for heating oil. They understand that they're paying double, and in some places triple, for a gallon of gas what they were paying under President Trump. They understand that there is a supply chain crisis. They understand that you didn't make good on your promise to quote unquote conquer COVID. And I told you, they were going to start rolling it back. Did you hear what he said? There's going to be no more lockdowns. And though he's not ready to quote call this the new normal, schools are going to stay open, and you mark it down. We are watching the Omicron numbers absolutely plummet, which is exactly what happened in South Africa. It spiked way up and then it dropped like a rock. And now that you're seeing in certain blue states like New York, New Jersey, New England, we're watching the numbers plummet. It still hasn't plummeted in other parts of the country because they were a week or two behind New York. This thing has ripped through the nation. Everybody's going to get it. We call it the common cold. Everybody's going to get it. Now the numbers are plummeting. They are dropping. And so now they're getting ready. I predict within the next month or so, they're going to really take a victory lap and just say, this is it. We've turned a corner. It's now the endemic. And I think you're going to see even some of the mandates really roll back. Look, Starbucks is no longer going to require that their employees vaccinate. You have any idea how liberal, progressive the whole management and philosophy of the business model of Starbucks is? This is going to get really interesting over the next few weeks, but I'm telling you, the rollback is coming because Team Biden has figured out about the only thing that he can actually fix, because he destroyed the economy, and he can't bring fuel prices down because under Trump, we had achieved energy independence. All that's gone, completely gone. And the fact that he walked into it over a minor incursion with Russia, and everything going on with China, they need a win. And Fauci, every day new stuff comes out on Fauci, and we're finding out more about what he knew and what he covered up, and other scientists that he trashed if they tried to bring to light the whole lab leak and everything that happened there. I don't think Fauci has fully come to grips with the fact that the powers that be have met behind closed doors, and Fauci, you're going to be the sacrificial lamb. You are going to be thrown under the bus because you were the media whore that had to be out there day after day on every TV channel talking about what we need to do, and you need to listen to me because I am science. And you don't realize it. Even if the president is in the camera smiling and saying how much faith he puts in you, just remember, mafia bosses are really good at smiling at guys that they've already given the head nod to somebody else he needs to just go away. I I'm telling you, Fauci, you're done. Back off your nonsense. Take your retirement and go away. That all said, the president was grilled on the fact that he's not getting his agenda through, especially when it comes to things like this voting rights bill that he wants. Imagine that, Joe, that we don't want the federal government, i.e. the Democrats, controlling 50 states when it comes to voting, especially when the Constitution made it very clear it is a state's issue. I've said it before, I will say it again. As Joseph Stalin once said, people who vote decide nothing. People who count votes decide everything. And why is it to the Democrats, and he's talking about we've got to avoid voter fraud. I thought we had the most pure elections of any country on the planet. I mean, people like the former president have been censored and kicked off of social media platforms for daring to insinuate there might have been a problem in 2020. I have been censored for even remotely casting doubt, and I'm not doing that now. I'm just simply saying the president is casting doubt already on 2022. Basically, he's saying that if the Democrats get their clock cleaned in these midterms, which is what everybody's predicting, that somehow there were shenanigans that took place. Well, wait a minute. First of all, a ballot hasn't even been cast yet. We haven't even, there's been nothing. It's even too early for early voting. So already he's casting doubt. How come Democrats can talk about illegitimate elections when it comes to Al Gore, Hillary Rodham Clinton, but we can't? So, this idea that you can't challenge, you can't. So that was the premise that this young reporter started to talk about. You didn't get it through. And then the reporter made a fatal mistake. He asked a simple, logical, factual question.
You campaigned and you ran on a return to civility. And I know that you dispute the characterization that you called folks who would oppose those voting bills as being Bull Connor or George Wallace, but you said that they would be sort of in the same camp.
No, I didn't say that. Look what I said. Go back and read what I said and tell me if you think I called anyone who voted on the side of the position taken by Bull Connor that they were Bull Connor. And that is an interesting reading of English. I assume you got into journalism because you like to write.
Grumpy old man, get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
I mean, ripped that poor kid's head off, and then when he kept talking, he basically admitted, yeah, I said it, but I said it because I'm passionate. Well, wait, you said you didn't say it. And then you said it because you were passionate. Listen, anybody that watched that press conference in its entirety understands we have a president who is in cognitive decline. It's real. It's not made up. Some of you people that a year ago were flipping out and getting upset and getting angry, he's always had that stutter. He's always been a gaffe machine. No, this is more than a stutter and gaffe. I don't know how much Prevagen they had to give him, and I don't know how many naps it took, and I don't know if the day before he was allowed to sleep in for 14 hours so he could have enough energy to stand there for, I believe it was an hour and 50 minutes. Anybody watching that, including world leaders, know the lights are on, nobody's home, and there are puppet masters behind the curtain pulling the strings. And that's rather frightening because the vice president, and we all know what an incompetent she is one heartbeat away from that office. Hey, that's it for this rant. Make sure you're a subscriber to the channel. In case you haven't noticed, the algorithm within YouTube and the way they're doing things now, they keep pulling my link to my Rumble channel. So you got to go to Rumble, Pastor Marty, Afternoon Drive, keep putting that in the search engine. You'll find my channel. Get there, subscribe, because eventually that's probably the only place I'll be able to play.